right. Hi guys, my name is Angie Hawkins and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is going to be really exciting and God is so good. He loves to bring tools and information and help us in that area, and he loves to bring somebody visible that you can't ignore their opinions. This is my dad. So this is the lovely, he's my friend, one of my closest friends, and amazing wingman through all my journeys. And the reason I say that is because he was a huge part of steering me away from some serious, just awful relationships, all the trash, the bad guys, all those things. He was the loud voice saying, no, not that one. Dear God, not that one. Over and over. Angie, really? What's going on here? Like, did you have a bad night? Did you eat some Rocky Road? What's going on? This guy of all people, like, he was that person. So I wanted to have him on this channel because he was such an important part of my life in helping me to stay strong in being single and steering me away from lots of bad relationships, potential ones. And more importantly, obviously, he's a guy's point of view. So I needed that aspect because let's just face it, what I think, women's points of view versus a guy's, we are not on the same page, two different playing fields. So all my advice that I was getting from my girls was helpful in addition with talking to the Lord, but then I needed a guy's opinion. And he was that loving voice that was like there for me. So I just really wanted to take this space to talk about dating relationships. And in this segment, we really wanted to kind of pick back off my first video and talk about some red flags. Because let's face it, there's red flags everywhere. And sometimes you don't notice them. I would say there's definitely some red flags that are obvious, like he's talking to you and he's talking to somebody else and cheating, like he wants you and his cake, that kind of thing. But then there's the other red flags, like selfishness or someone who's controlling or someone who is all about themselves, that we don't think about those red flags. I feel like we want to scale 10. He's cheating. He came out of jail. I mean, all these things that are a level 10, but we don't look at what's a level 5, what's a level 3, just a less intense red flag. And so he was the one, I was looking at the intense red flags and he's like, that's the obvious. Let's go ahead and look at some other ones. So I just wanted to have him kind of share some things on some of those red flags, but I think I kind of wanted to maybe share a story and maybe we can tag on. I can't wait to share this. We're going to keep things so real on this channel. I don't like cookie cutter. I don't like sugarcoating things. That doesn't help anyone. So in this channel, I wanted it to just be completely honest, very authentic. And there is a certain story, love telling stories, because it makes it clear. There was a guy I was interested in, and he had a major role in helping me out. We're about to dig into that tea. It's going to be really good. So I'm going to pick back up. So I started my journey in being single, trusting God with my heart in that area. And I made a deal with the Lord. Like, hey, I'm going to like some guys along the way. I really need you to give me like a heads up or a warning of, if you're not in this, let me know why. So that was kind of the agreement, little background check and story on the agreement I had with the Lord. So I was agreeing to be single, but you know how that goes. You say one thing, then something really flashy or interesting walks by. Then that kind of goes on the back burner. So I was in college and there was this guy that I was interested in. I like my guy. He was athletic. He was buff. It's kind of like a Vin Diesel type of look. Very handsome. He had a lot of respect amongst friends that we had in common. Just seemed like a really good guy from what I thought. And he was pretty well known. And I was like, this guy seems like a good guy. He was attractive. We had some similar interests and stuff. So I met him at an event and he saw me, or actually, I'm sorry, I saw him. He saw me, but then we didn't say hi. You know how that goes. You're like, you're all excited and you want to like introduce yourself and then you chicken out. That was where I was. So I didn't say hi in person. He didn't either. So both of us weren't, super bold at that point. And he sends me a message on Facebook. Yes, he definitely went there and goes, hey, I'll introduce myself to you. And he told me his name and then started talking like, hey, I wanted to talk to you, but you're talking to your friends. Just want to tell you a little about myself. And I was hoping that we could, kind of next time you're around in college or whatever, you can come say hi. So we were chatting back and forth a little bit, and then I saw him in person and we talked. And he had everything on paper, ladies. I mean, he had everything I was looking for. Had the same beliefs. We were on the same page in some areas. We both wanted to help people. Seemed like a good guy, and he was attractive. He was together. He had, just things worked out in his life financially. He just had all these things that he looked like he had control and he was established. So I was like, well, this looks like a good guy. Lord, what do you think? I was like, what could possibly be wrong? Is that not the question? So anyway, we were friends for a few months, and I get this uncomfortable gut feeling of this guy is not who you think he is. And I try to override that. My dad knows. I don't like to listen to that. Nobody wants to hear the word no, or you can't have this. Nobody likes that. And I can remember talking with him, and I'm still trying to make this work. And we're friends technically, but we both like each other. And I'm still getting that uncomfortable feeling of he's not who you think he is. So I finally agreed to just be friends. I was like, okay, Lord, all right, we'll be just friends. And I tell him we're going to be just friends. And then he has the nerve to say he was never interested in me to begin with. Keep in mind, we were talking for 6 months. And he says that. So I told my dad about this little scenario where this guy that I was talking to for 6 months, my friends knew, his friends knew. And then when I tell him, hey, we got to keep things just friends, he says, well, I didn't like you more than a friend anyway. So I tell my dad, I was mad. I mean, I know I'm controlled now, but I was mad, ladies. I was so upset. I was like, how dare you? Take off my heel. I wanted to who does that? So why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about your involvement in this one?
One of the things that I was able to bring into her life is just time. I remember high school days, everybody is living in the moment. Mm-hmm. They want what they want, and they want it now.
That's true.
They want it quick. Don't want a lot of work.
No.
And so, she had learned some things, but the more she talked about this guy, the more I was just going, question there, question there, question there. So when he had said that, I thought, oh, that's ridiculous. First of all, people normally aren't, we're just talking about people that are, let's just say level-headed people, got themselves together decently. They're not out, going to date just to date. And they're not thinking about anything more beyond that. Little girls watch Cinderella.
Oh, gosh.
And all these things from childhood up, they're all looking for Prince Charming. And of course, Cinderella wasn't ugly at the ball either. And so the guys are thinking, yeah, I'd like to find somebody like that. So when someone comes along, it's so easy to overlook things that are a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. And because I had years in experience, I could see things that she wasn't seeing. And so when this guy is saying, oh yeah, I wasn't even interested to start with, I went, what were you doing? Trying to go out and establish something for 6 months then, especially if he's like Mr. Popularity, probably could have had any of the other girls that were all, looking to be with him. I said, he's lying. And she said, no, well, he just said we're just friends. This was kind of early on. I said, he was texting back, and I said, let me see that phone.
He did grab my phone.
So I took her phone.
The guy does not know.
He doesn't know.
Now my dad's talking to him.
He has no clue.
I no longer am.
So I thought, I'm going to up the game. Because girls, listen, you don't think like a guy.
True.
And guys, you don't think like a girl. So you really need somebody in your life. Listen to me. You need someone in your life about 15 years older than you, of the opposite sex, that cares about you and what happens to your life, to speak into your life. If you're just going to be arrogant and nobody can tell me anything, I'm 18, I'm 19, I'm 25, You haven't learned everything. You've got just old enough to get in trouble. I know that's blunt, but listen, it's tight, but it's right. You got to be willing to humble yourself and realize if this person cares about me, and I know they do, and they're saying, hey, there's something not right with this. Let's talk about it. Don't tune them out just because you think you finally found your candy stick. Don't push them away and say, they're just trying to ruin my fun. I've waited all this time for this, and now you come over with all this negativity. You don't care about me anymore. What about my feelings? Dump your feelings.
Well, it's true. You do feel like that. I mean, you do feel like they're taking something from you. But when there's that trust built between you and that person, and they have been there for you in other areas and said, hey, this looks bad, and they were right. And then they're like, and so you've got that in your pocket of trust built. And then there's this person that you're considering, maybe later down the road, and they're like, hey, I don't really have a good feeling about that person. That's kind of the scenario where it's like, okay, I may be all in my feelings and my emotion and want that. But if this person who's been there for me, who loves me, they are wiser than I am, they've been down the road a little longer than me, and they're saying this, I might want to take a second look at it, what they're saying, and give them a chance, because a lot of times it's so hard to see those red flags when you're in the middle of that moment. It's so much easier for someone else like him, who's not in the moment, not in the situation. They can see things you can't. They're not blinded by infatuation, number one, because they're not in your shoes. They can see things a little more clearly than you can, and they have nothing to lose. Yeah. So there's no pressure. There's no reason for them to not see the red flags. So that's why it's important that you have that person.
With this moment that I grabbed that phone, first of all, I know how a guy thinks. Guys are the pursuers, girls. So listen up. Guys are the pursuers, and they have to watch you. I mean, if you're going to talk to them, if you smile at them, all those are positives. You give them the time of day, those are all positives. And in their mind, they're doing a check and balance thing. If you'll talk to them, if you're kind and sweet and you're smiling all the time, in their mind, eventually, very quickly eventually, it turns into, okay, maybe she's interested. So then they want to take it to the next level. It's like baseball, first base, second base, third base. They're trying to go somewhere with this. It's, they're trying to capture this lady. So when they're doing that, they're already thinking ahead. The girls are like the crock pot. They're just warming up. They're just seeing what's happening here. They're not really sure yet, and they definitely don't want him to know I'm interested. And if you say anything different than that, you're lying about it. You don't want him to know you're interested till you're ready to let him know. And even then, you're hesitant.
Very true.
So I know how the guy's thinking. So when he says, oh, I wasn't interested to begin with, I went, psst, give me that phone. And so I started asking him questions. Long story short, this went back and forth. His response is taking a few minutes for him to respond. After 20 minutes of me putting him up against the ropes with my questions, he thinks it's her talking. All of a sudden he goes, okay, yes, I was interested. She was fuming.
Oh, I was mad.
Because now the guy has spent 20 minutes of denial, lying about it from the start with his first comment. Right now, he's right down to the end. Now he's admitting. And so, along the way, I was just saying, honey, guys are, let's just be real. Let's talk blunt. I had to talk blunt to my girls sometimes just to get them to get a hold of the picture.
Extremely blunt.
Guys, testosterone level is at a max between 18 and 27. Their brain is like fishing, we're going to catch the prize, we're going to get it, we're going to get connected, married, da-da-da-da. That's the way they're going. My dad got married at 23, and when I was 21, I was under the pressure. I was like, oh my gosh, I got 2 years to get this done. The girls are a little bit slower on this. They want somebody, but they're not wanting to be rushed in. Why? Because trust. And so let me say something to you right here. If he doesn't honor you, if he's always, every time you get together, he's always trying to take it to another level. He's always trying to get you to sway his way. And guys, don't get ticked at this. Just listen. You need to be honorable. You need to respect her. It's not about being clever and catching somebody. And that's why you want to take it slow. You want to look for the signs, and you definitely want to get a friend 15 years older. Somebody old enough who's been there, probably has some battle scars like I did, and you recognize the red flags. And it's not that you're just running around looking for them. It's like you just notice it. When you drove a car, you were taking lessons, the instructor says, "What's that sign, 100 yards up the road?" You don't know. You have to wait till you see STOP. He says, "Well, it's a stop sign." You don't recognize it. Why? Because you haven't been looking for it. You've been driven around all the time. She didn't know at that age what to look for. And unfortunately, a lot of people have never had anyone speak in their life. They don't know what to look for. They don't even know. They're just, it's like I said, living in the moment. I heard this one. Here's classic. I'm not going to do anything wrong. Well, just because you're not going to do something wrong doesn't mean trouble is not looking for you.
Which is true. And I think with my generation, I say ours, he's 30 years older, not technically ours. But with my generation, I'm in my 31, so and younger and around that age bracket, you really want to do things yourself. You really think you kind of have it all together and you can see what there is to see. And I know that I finally got to a point where I was making some bad choices and not making the best ones, that I decided to seek out someone who was older than me, who'd been down the road, because I knew, okay, they're older. They've seen like their life is together. I admired where they were at, the things they were doing in their life. I need their opinion. And I think people wait for that to just happen and fall on them, and it doesn't. You have to seek that out. I would go to him all the time. Hey, I got some questions. Hey, I keep knocking on the door. I need to talk. I really need to talk. And I have several people in my life that I do that with. Him, several others, some other ladies that I'm really close with, because I don't want to keep going through the school of hard knocks, getting my heart broken over and over and over, and knowing that that can be prevented if I would just seek out wisdom from people that are older than me, that see things that I don't. They've been down that road. They can see those warning signs a mile off. I'm like up here at the freaking stop sign. Now I see it, a little too late at that point.
Yeah. So let's talk about, so how can I recognize some of this? How can I even notice it? I haven't learned that much. Well, let's talk about this from a different angle. Instead of saying, look for this red flag, this red flag, this red flag, let's start with, let's look for honor. If he doesn't honor you,
that's good.
Or guy, if the girl doesn't honor you, if there's not respect, red flag.
That's good.
Okay? If they don't value what you contribute into their life, even on the just early stages of it, if they take you for granted, such as maybe you go out somewhere, you buy somebody a meal, they don't even say thank you, red flag.
Yeah.
You don't want an all about me guy, or,
And all
ladies,
about me chick too. It's true.
And guys, you don't want this all about me chick. So you're looking for honor. You're looking for, what I told my daughters, I said, you want to look for character. The girls can look like Barbie dolls till they're, 45 years old. But what happens if it's going to be till death do us part? Let's just be serious about this. If this is marriage, what happens later in life? The looks are going to fade. The guys might, start gaining weight, or the girls too. It happens. Wrinkles happen. But what's going to last? What is really what you're looking for? You're looking for someone who will love the person on the inside, who you really are. Because then you don't have to put up, this thing where I got to have my best foot forward all the time to keep them happy. You don't want that. You don't want to put yourself in that position. You want to be in this place where you can see who they are, how they treat you. Do they really love and respect this person on the inside? And you likewise. Otherwise, you're just playing a game with your head. You're lying to yourself. Just because they look good on the outside, that's not going to last forever. But character, if they're humble, if they're kind, if they're forgiving, if they are a person who honors you and respects you, a relationship should be a team, not just a one-sided thing. It's not about, guys, listen to me, it's not about her tracking around the world, following you wherever you want to go. She has a vision too. She has dreams too. And the upset will come when one of them discovers it's all about the other person. And they drop all their goals, all their visions, all their dreams. And now you got somebody who's miserable. And listen to me. What if you get someone who's really sweet and they don't say anything? After a while, when misery is working on the inside of them because they had a dream too and they've sacrificed for everything about you.
Yeah.
Wow. You have just crucified somebody's dreams by making your own first priority. Is that really what you want to do to somebody? Is that what you want done to you? So we really need to look at character.
Yeah.
If you don't look at character and you only look at the outward package, oh my gosh, he's got six-pack abs. He looks like,
I feel like he's like over here going, you were saying that, which is true. Looks are important. Obviously, we're not saying that doesn't matter, but it shouldn't be as high of a priority. Character needs to be there. Right. Yes, we want you to be attracted to the person. That's a given. But if your checklist kind of stops and ends with, are they attractive? You're headed for trouble. You're headed for a very shallow relationship. So let's kind of table this for now. We're going to pick back up because I know he has more in there. I can just he's like brimming. I got more to share. So we're going to do part 2 on this and just kind of tag this again and go a little deeper dive on recognizing a little bit more on red flags, because our heart and soul is to flag people down so they don't keep crashing and burning over and over and over until they just don't even think love exists anymore. So that's really a big part of, we want to help you to succeed in this area. And I say we because he's obviously the older perspective. I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. He desires to have that. I desire that, but I'm not going to be in such a big hurry that I end up with a counterfeit. And so we're going to probably dive into that a little bit too. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. My dad and I appreciate all your support. And if you love the content, if it helped you in any way, encouraged you in any way, or you have a friend it could encourage, please like and subscribe. We would appreciate that so much because there is so much more that we want to cover and help you guys. So we love you. Thanks for tuning in.